Hello, welcome back. We're gonna check on the Mamiya's troubleshooting. The RZ67, especially the Pro II, it has a lot of safety features that avoid any errors that may happen. And most of these errors would be by user mistake rather than a camera malfunction, because these things are very sturdy and they have a lot of little security features that will just like prevent you from keep shooting if something is wrong or something is not done right. It's a very simple thing, you set up the aperture, the speed, and you shoot, but sometimes there is some like little steps that you need to follow in order to keep on shooting. So one of the most common mistakes is the shutter cannot be released. So I press it and it's not taking pictures, it's giving me errors, like right now it's beeping. So it could be a number of reasons, and I'm gonna list the most common reasons. Have you advanced the film to the first frame? So have you wind this thing all the way until it says first frame? Because sometimes you put the film in there and you try to take a picture and you're like, what? But you need to actually advance it all the way to number one. So is it completely at number one? And with that, the next question would be, is the number of exposures being completed? So with the 120 film, have you done 10 shots? Or with the 220 film, have you done 20 shots? That if your film is already done, then you're not gonna be able to shoot anymore, even do you crank it and everything. Obviously, unless you're in M mode, but normally you will be shooting on the normal mode, which is in the middle. So it will just keep telling you, hey, I cannot shoot. Maybe you don't have the film on the first photo, or maybe it's already done. So when you finish, it will not let you keep shooting, because it will be like a safety feature, right? You don't want to be like, focusing on the shoot and perfecting the shot and then pressing the button and hearing the sound that it's shooting, maybe cranking it up and keep shooting, and your film is already done, so you're not taking no pictures. So that will be a way for the camera to let you know, hey, I cannot shoot anymore, you don't have any film. Next thing would be the cooking lever. This one over here. Has it been all the way as far as it will go? Because sometimes you're shooting and then you just want to like do it like really fast, because maybe all shooters that are used to the 35mm cameras, they just are used to do maybe this sort of action and not all the way down to here action. And obviously a lot of people stops here, they don't want to overpress the camera, but even beyond this, which is a stop, there is still more to go. So it comes all the way down here, and this actually, you need force to put it in here. All the way down to here is normal, but once you go down here, it excels. You need some pressure in here. So has it gone all the way down to here? If it not, maybe there is some stuff that is not completely cranked or completely reloaded, so it would not let you shoot. It will say, hey, this thing is not completely done. Third thing, okay, you do have the film, you're in the first one, you have cranked this up, but it's not letting you shoot. Did you took out your dark slide? If you don't take your dark slide out, it will not let you shoot, even that you're in a nice frame and you cranked it all the way up. It will just not let you shoot, and this would be the main error. And this is a great thing, because it will keep you reminding you need to take your dark slide out, so in order for you to take the shots, which is a pretty obvious thing. But once you're shooting, and sometimes you completely forget about the camera, so sometimes you forget about doing this, because you don't take and put in the dark slide every single shot that you take. Sometimes you take it out and you shoot your 10 films, and then you just put it back and just take it out, and sometimes you forget to take it out. Number 4 would be, have you locked the shutter release button and forgotten about it? Maybe we saw it in a previous episode. You put it on the red zone over here, this little dot, the dial. You put it on the red dot, and it's not shooting. It's not even letting me press. Well, that means that it's locked right there. So it will not let you shoot no matter what. Even if everything in the settings are correct, it's not gonna let you shoot because it's unlocked. Maybe you set it up like that and you forgot it, and now you see now you can press it all the way down. Maybe you forgot about doing that. The fifth thing, is there a battery in the battery chamber? On the battery down here, we saw it on a previous episode, right here. Is there a battery in there? And is the battery, does it have any energy on it? Is it good? any of these problems. If there is no battery, everything that works with electronics, so even you're pressing this, it's not gonna shoot, it's not gonna trigger anything. You already cranked the lever, you did everything simply correctly, but it's not taking the shot. Well, maybe the battery is already run out, and that would be a problem, of course. Another thing that could happen probably is the T lever on the lens on N. We saw it in a previous episode for timer exposures, for long exposures. This T lever would be on N. So you put it on N and you try to take the shot, right? You crank it up, you try to take the shot, and it's stuck. It's not taking anything, and I crank it up and it just closes the aperture, and now I'm not able to move. It's not shooting. I don't know what to do. It's all stuck. Well, the T may be on the end. Just by any mistake, sometimes you grab the camera by here and you just flip it up to the end. So all you need to do is to press this and finish the exposure, and now you can keep shooting. Well, I have another error over here that we will go later on. And you keep shooting as normally. So this T being covering the end part of it will give you definitely an error with that. The next one will be one of these ones, is the camera speed dial on RBL, and there's an RZ lens in the camera. So if I put this on RBL, I try to shoot, and it will not just not shoot, but it would also give me that beeping error. And this is because, hey, I have another lens. It's not an RBL lens. It's a lens that is trying to communicate with the camera. So, yeah, this is not going to work. I don't know what speed to give it to this lens because it's set to an RBL. Alright, so that will be another one. The other one thing that can happen is if it's an AEF mode, which is what I had earlier right now, and it was giving me that error. And, well, AEF, we need an automatic exposure finder over here in an RC lens. So I need both of those things. I need one of the RC lenses and one of the AE finders to put it on AEF, because the finder is the one that decides on the speed, and it tells the lens what speed to use. So if any of those two are missing, there you go, you get another error. So maybe like, oh my god, the camera is beeping, check on this. Maybe you have it on RBL or AEF mode, and that will give you an error definitely. Now another error that could happen is, have you used the mirror up mode and the red ring on the color is still visible after removing the cable? So maybe you were just playing with this little thing over here. We saw it in a previous episode for the mirror up functions, and you just left it up. Maybe you tried to put it in, you screw it up, by pulling it you screw it up, and this little dial is popped out, and you can see a red ring around it. That means that when you shoot, the mirror will just come out, but there's going to be no exposure done, and it's not going to let you do anything because the mirror is still up. So even if you crank it, I mean, it's just going to not get you to shoot, because to shoot it you need to press this thing right here. So you need to grab your cable release again and screw it all the way up in again and take it all out, and make sure that the red line is pushed back inside there, so in the way that you cannot see it. So that would be another probably error that could happen. In the case of the examples 1 to 3, where the film is not completely advanced, or the cocking lever is still not gone, or the film is already gone, or the dark slide is still inside, it would actually light up an orange slide over here. We saw it on the errors in a previous video. So it will light up the orange slide and will tell you, hey, you cannot shoot for one of these reasons. It's either the film is not properly set up, there is not proper cranking yet, or there's a dark slide there. So those would be pretty much the main reasons where the shutter cannot be released. Then sometimes maybe the lens cannot be taken out. Like I tried to take it out and it's not gonna let me. Well, there could be a couple of reasons of this. So I just took a picture, and the lens, the mirror is on the upper position, right? So I tried to take the lens out, and it stops. This little white dot over here, it should go all the way to up here, and it's just getting stuck in there. I cannot move it more than that right there. Can you see it? There you go. This white dot should come all the way here, but it's not going. So I'm like, oh my god, my camera is broken. It's not letting me change my lens. Well, that's because the mirror, one of the most probable reasons is the mirror is up and it's not letting you do it, because you need to put this on now. I put it down, I'm trying to take it out, and it's still not letting me. Why is it not letting me? Well, you need to put it all the way down to here. There we go. Now I can take it out. So that could be an error, and it did happen to me, and it's kind of frustrating because you're like, why does this thing not happen? Well, the camera is designed for you to put the mirror down so no light goes through towards the film, and the lens would be cranked up and open so you don't have the blades closed. That would be one of the pretty much the most common reason for the lens not being able to take out. The other one was the film holder. I cannot remove the film holder. It has a little lock down here. I'm trying to move it out. It doesn't come out. It doesn't let me pull it out. I don't know why. The most common reason, and the most huge reason, and pretty much the only reason where you will find this kind of type of error that is not letting you slide this lever over here, is that you're missing this. You're missing the dark slide. If it doesn't have the dark slide in there, the film will be automatically exposed. So you put the dark slide in there, and now very easily you will be able to switch the lever and take this out. And now this is a security feature that this has, but as we may see with this one, I have a Polaroid package holder right here, and actually still have some shots in there. And it has a film slide right here, a dark slide. This Polaroid, when you put it in there, let's see, it always takes a second. There you go. We put it in there, I lock it. I can now take this dark slide out, as we saw in a previous video. It's a huge thing. There you go. I took a cover dark slide out, and now I should be able to take photos and all with the Polaroids. But on this one, you see this lever? That's the lock, right? It actually allows me to open it completely and even remove it. Probably I messed up my shot inside there, but it will be allowing me to remove it even that the dark slide is not in. And that was a huge problem. I have at least in all my life with using these Polaroid bags, I have probably at least ruined maybe 10 shots, 10 Polaroid negatives, because I'm very used to the camera not letting me take the back off unless the dark slide is on. And once I'm doing a photo shoot, if I'm doing a test with this just to see how my picture would look, and I'm like, okay, I got the shot that I want, now I'm gonna go film, so I want to take out the Polaroid out and I want to put my film back in. So I have the model ready, and it's just waiting for me, and I took the shot, and I took 3 minutes or 1 minute to actually see the image. Okay, I'm done, I'm ready for this. Okay, the model's still waiting, so I'm like, okay, let's go ahead and shoot now. So I need to put this out real quick and put this back in. So it's very simple, just to grab it and switch this, and you see it doesn't even complain if you move it out here. And even if it's out, you can still actually pull. You can see I'm pulling it up. You can still pull this out even if it's not on the camera, which is something that doesn't happen with these bags. These bags, I cannot pull it out because it has a locking mechanism down here, so I cannot open this. That could be one of the other things. Well, it will not let you take the bags out, and this will happen just with certain ones, obviously. Oops. And this will happen with just certain ones, obviously not the Polaroid one. As we can see, this one can give you a little bit of trouble when it allows you to take it out without this thing. A few caution that we could have is the winders. All right, so there is the automatic winder, and I had this issue before. I bought this camera, and then I wanted one of these guys to be able to wind my camera automatic, so I don't have to push this lever all the time. I wanted just to take the shot and have this thing move it for me, and I like the sound and everything. It's a little bit heavy because it's operated by 6 batteries, 6 AA batteries. So and it's pretty sturdy. It's made out of metal. So this one it has a name down here. So it's a Mamiya RZ67 Winder 2. Alright, so the Winder 1, the Winder RC1, so what they call it, cannot be used in this camera. So if you're getting an error that is not moving, that is acting weird, you make sure that you bought the number 2 for the Pro 2. You cannot use it for the Pro 2 if it's not the Pro 2 Winder. Now it's not the same as the backs. The backs, this is for the Pro 1, Mamiya RZ67 Professional, and the one that I have here is the Professional 2, which has 2 windows, and this one only has 1 window. It doesn't have the window on the side, but this one would work fine for both. With this camera, it would work fine with both of these backs, even Polaroids and other ones. But not happens with this, and not happens with the Prism Winder. So we need to check out which is compatible and which is not. Another thing is when you're using a mirror operation in the bulk mode, you gotta use an optional double cable release. So if you're using a B, right, and you wanna have the mirror up and you wanna press this, I mean, it's better. It's recommended to use another one so you can hold the mirror up here and work with these two at the same time, the mirror lock up and the trigger. Alright, next thing, the previous models of AE prism finders or AE magnifying finders, the AE basically means auto exposure. You just put it up here, AE finder. So there's magnifiers and there's prism finders that are AE, that has the speed dials up here. You put it in here and everything works cool, but there's previous models of AE prism finders and magnifying finders that cannot be used with the RC Pro II unless their circuits are modified. And for that you need to contact your country's Mamiya distributor for further information and blah blah blah. I mean, some of them, they can modify the circuits in order for you to be able to work with them, but if they're old, for the old models, then it's better just to get something that works for this. Otherwise you get into a couple of troubles, and that maybe give you like a couple of errors or whatever. There's one of the old finders, the AE Prism Finder FE701, which is the only one I believe that can be mounted on the RZ67 Pro II, and it would actually work. Now, one more precaution is, this is not an error, but it's a precaution kind of thing. The flash sync, this thing right here, the flash sync is the thing that you connect to check on when you're shooting, so you can, you know, synchronize flashes, of course, flash sync. Previous old flashes, old units of flashes would have what they call output trigger voltage, right? So if it's a maximum of 12 volts output trigger voltage, this camera can handle it. And if it's more than that, then you may very probably mess up the electronics of the camera. And it seems like everything is fine, right? You got your light set up, you got a little cable that is just connecting here, and you trigger the light switch, or just studio lights or whatever, and you're shooting with an old camera, and there's probably all studio lights, and everything seems to be fine. But it turns out that those lights, and there is some lights that are some strobe lights that can actually be sending up to 400 volts. I'm not even kidding. There's some lights that will send 400 volts to this little thing just to tell just to check when the camera is actually triggering. So it will send a bunch of energy and it will get stuck in there until you trigger the shot. And when you trigger the shot, it will be like a switch, and it will let those 400 volts just pass through and tell the other the system, the lighting system, that you're shooting. So just check on how much voltage does the trigger output trigger voltage is for your lighting setup. Obviously all the modern things, they don't work with that much, but older stuff, older studio light, they do work with some heavy stuff. Now, if you have those old lights and you need them, you can actually use a filter, you know, something to reduce the voltage, and just like don't allow so much current into the camera. But that will be some electronic kind of thing that you have to get into to know to reduce it at least to 12 voltage. So that would be said, that will be enough for the troubleshooting. If you guys have any other issues with the camera, I am no expert at all on this camera, but I have a lot of experience using it because it's basically my only camera, and I use it for work as a full-time. So I have a lot of experience with this, and I can probably give you guys a help. Now, if you're thinking to buy one of these guys, I do recommend it for many situations, and I do not recommend it for other situations. I mean, if you're gonna be carrying this for a while, you're gonna get some muscles, that's for sure. And I'm not even kidding. I'm not even kidding. If you go to a photo shoot that is gonna take you for 2 or 3 hours, and you have this on your hands, you will end up with some arm aching for sure. Unless you are used to go to the gym and be lifting up weights and all that stuff, and you don't care for lifting, you know, a couple of I don't know, what is this, 6, 7, 8 pounds? 8 pounds probably. You don't care to be carrying around 8 pounds for a couple of hours, and you will be fine. But yeah, if this is to be used on a tripod, I do use it on hand. I live in Tokyo now, and I go in the train systems, and I carry this sometimes by hand, and I go to the photo shoots, and I come back, and all the time I have it on my hands. And I mean, it's something that you can get used to if you really love to work with these cameras and the output quality that it gives you. But if you guys have any other questions about this camera system, please let me know, and I'm sure I will do everything I can to answer any question that you guys send immediately. Alright, so see you guys later on. Bye bye.